My friends, I welcome all of you to this new series which we are starting, in which we are going to guide all of you about all the optionals which are there in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Today, the first lecture in the series we are doing with Mr. Prasad Shinde sir. He is an Indian Foreign Service officer of 2020 batch. So, Prasad sir, I welcome, first of all, I welcome you.
Thank
And
you.
I have this honor as you are from my own state, Maharashtra. So, again, ये मेरे लिए एक special बात है. So, Prasad sir, you had zoology as your optional.
Yes.
So, sir, what was your reason behind choosing such kind of optional? Because like when we were appearing, there were other optional in news such as PSIR or PubAd. But why did you choose zoology as your optional?
I think this is one question that many of the aspirants have asked me. Firstly, like, how do you choose an optional, and why did I choose zoology as an optional? I think whenever we are choosing an optional, first thing to look at is our interest as well as your graduation background. Now, the thing is that I had done my graduation in biotechnology, graduation and post graduation. So when I looked at the syllabus of zoology, I found that the paper two was totally what I learned in biotechnology. Also, at the same time, during the first 2 years, I did zoology as along with biotechnology subject in my graduation. So I looked at my interest. I found that the syllabus also was pretty much consistent with what I have done. So apart from your interest, apart from what I have done during the graduation, and also the syllabus, I looked at all the three things and I found that it clicked with me. So that is the main reason why I selected zoology and optional. And I found that the syllabus was more or less, something that I had done before. So that is why I selected zoology. Yeah.
Sir, and if I may ask, so when you chose this as your optional, and then how was your journey with this optional throughout all your attempts? So, like the marks you scored, and like many people feel when they start giving attempt, so कुछ time के बाद हमें लगता है कि this optional is little bit difficult or something. Did you feel like that? So, how was your experience with the optional?
See, I'll be very much honest about zoology as an optional. Uh, Initially, I thought that okay, this is manageable. This is something that I can do. So when first time I wrote mains, I got pretty much very less marks in zoology, and this was something like which shattered my confidence in this subject. I thought that I did pretty well while writing the answers and everything, and then I was wondering how come I got so much like less marks in zoology. Then I did an analysis of the marks, the trend in the marks of all the aspirants who had taken zoology and written mains with zoology as an optional. One thing that I found out is, the marks that we get in zoology, not everyone scores, like about 300. Pretty much like roughly you score between 290 and 300, which is a pretty like okay score. It is not, like something which will get you into the top 100 ranking if you take an optional. So this is one thing which I got to know about this optional, that is a drawback. And secondly, that another thing is that the questions that they ask in the exam, we feel that what we have written is complete, but the thing is they ask many questions out of the syllabus also. So zoology is like a very vast subject. They haven't defined the topics. They have just written that this topics are there for you, but they haven't defined like how much vast, like you have to cover in that particular topic. So the problem with zoology optional is that the syllabus, in spite of telling us what it is, they haven't defined like till what boundary we have to study. So it's more like what we do during the post graduation also in zoology. So you have to cover that much of the stuff in zoology. So this is one of the major drawback. It takes a hell lot of time to cover all the things and prepare for the zoology. I say if you're preparing for the first time, it will take you roughly around 4 months to prepare for this zoology very well. So this is one another drawback. And also the mark trend. I believe that the marks are not pretty good that you get in zoology. They considering it is a very theoretical subject, and you have to be very consistent with the diagrams as well as what you write. So the marks is I found that there is only one person who has scored more than 300 in the last 5 years. So that
Oh,
was like 330 marks one person scored, and after that the trend has been only like 2 years ago 303, and before that 290, which has been highest. So this is the trend where what has been happening during my time. The marks were pretty much, like uh, scaled down. So what I scored was 272. So which is in a normal year roughly around 295, 300. So it is something like that. So as you can see, as compared to other options, if you want to be into top 100, I would criticize zoology for not giving that much marks. Yeah.
See, sir, I'm really thankful for this kind of frank opinion because see, many a time क्या होता है कि see, I always wanted to give that real opinion to the aspirants always, right? And I am really thankful for that. So, see, because my optional was anthropology, and anthropology was doing really well in the past few years, and they used to ask questions which were directly from the syllabus. But as you said, there were questions they were asking out of the syllabus because they have not defined the syllabus in proper manner,
Mm.
and that has started happening in anthropology also in the
Okay.
last 2 years. I would say that has started happening. So what was your strategy? So till what depth you went when you were studying, and what was your strategy to complete entire syllabus holistically?
So what I did was like the initial two times when I appeared for the mains, my marks in zoology slowly started increasing. Then I started, analyzing in detail the past 10 years question papers. So what I found was that in zoology, okay, the questions tend to get repeated, but there is a trend in the way they ask questions. When you analyze the papers properly, you find that some of the questions are pretty much consistently repeated after a period of 3 years, 2 to 3 years. So when I analyze those questions, I found that if you solve last 10 years question papers, then the entire syllabus of the zoology can be covered through it. So pretty much like if you get any other question which is, like twisted, which is not worded the way the syllabus defines it, but even if you write something similar to what you have already prepared by solving the last 10 years papers, that will fetch you marks. So this is one strategy I followed, is that solving the last 10 years question papers of the actual mains, and also focusing more on the structure of the answer, and focusing also on the diagram. So this is the major thing in zoology, is that we need to focus on diagram. This is one thing that the many of the aspirants miss out on, that they don't practice diagrams and they just focus on the theory. If even when you don't have much time left during the exam, while writing the mains, if you draw the diagram, then it is enough or sufficient to define what the answer demands, because the zoology diagrams are such that when you label it properly, it straight away gives out the answer for the question. So you don't need to write much in detail about it. So one thing is practice your diagrams thoroughly, and secondly also give a proper structure to your answers, like what you give in the GS answers. And thirdly, you practice the last 10 years question papers. So this is the strategy that I followed, and it drastically changed the way I scored in zoology in the next mains. Yeah.
Sir, even like solving the past year questions, I always say that in UPSC there are only two scales. One is your syllabus and other is past year question paper, which always keep you closer to the level of preparation which is required in the exam. And you brought it out. That's again a very good point. Now, moving further, now let's say if you would like to define, okay, these are the resources which you have referred, because very few people take zoology as optional, and many aspirants ask me, okay, we want some kind of guidance in zoology, and I know you are the person who have this in-depth knowledge about zoology. So if you want to mention your book list, what was it like, which books or material or notes you have referred during your preparation days?
See, basically, there are some reference books. There are some standard reference books for the covering the vertebrates and the invertebrates part. We have to refer to Kothpal. Kothpal is like a Bible for it. So there is no other option apart from that. For others, there are books which are available from the evolution classes notes, which are really good for some of the topics, and also for some of the other like the topics. I have a book list which I have referred to on my Instagram page. If you want, I can share it with you right now.
Sir, if possible, if you can share the screen and if it is visible to them, something like that, we can do. Or then, or otherwise, afterwards, if you can share, I will share it with them.
Okay, fine. I'll share it with you, sir, and then maybe you can upload it later. But just to tell the aspirants that you cannot refer to one standard book. you have to refer to many of the books for the different topics, and at the same time you have to do a lot of googling as well, because most of the answers you don't find in reference books. You will find it from some of the website, from some of the research papers, and from Google. And also the type of question that are being asked, those are becoming dynamic in the environment part. So in the environment part, when you're covering the questions, you cannot refer to any reference books, or it is all what you do in GS in the current affairs for the environment part. So so that, like that, the type of questions are changing slowly. Yeah.
Sir, but again, I would ask you if you can mention name of few books, or like for the paper one and paper two, if you have referred something, if that is in your mind, and if you can share those names, definitely it will be very much useful for them.
See, the major part of the paper one is the vertebrates and the invertebrate section, which is like cover the 50% of the syllabus. For that, Pothpal is the major book for it. And secondly, there is biostatistics. For the biostatistics, there is Satya Prakash Prasad, which is available for that. And there is bioinstrumentation as well. For bioinstrumentation, you can refer to the evolution notes. Then for the paper two also, there are some topics such as evolution, which can be covered from the evolution notes, evolution and molecular genetics, which can be covered from the evolution classes notes. So yeah, like this, there are different book sources. I will share it with you, sir, and maybe you can upload it with it later on. Yeah.
And yes, definitely I will share it with all of them. So again, there is about optional. There is one another thing that okay, we do study in our graduation or post graduation, but the syllabus of the UPSC or the demand of the UPSC is quite different than our graduation. So, is there any kind of guidance available for zoology optional, or have you taken any kind of guidance for preparing this optional for UPSC CSE?
The thing is, for the guidance, there are some classes which are available, and the test series which are available in the market. So basically, there are 2 3 classes which takes zoology specifically. But I would suggest, if you want to join, then join evolution classes for this test series. The test series is pretty much good, and that will help you in developing your answer writing skills as well. That is one thing. Secondly, at the same time, the problem is there is no, like past reference books, past question, solved question papers for the zoology which are available in the market. So you have to refer to the various book sources, as I told you. Uh, Thirdly, the thing is, when you're writing your answers, the strategy that you should always follow is focus on your diagrams. As I said previously before, that most of us skip the diagrams. Even if you practice the diagrams perfectly with the perfect labeling, you don't need to be a very artistic with the diagrams, even if it is like proper enough for the person who is looking at it to understand. And when you label it properly, that will fetch you very much good marks. You and when you are writing the answer, say if a question demands you to write life cycle of a plasmodium, you draw the diagram properly of the life cycle. Even if you write that, if you draw the diagram that much, that will fetch you around like 4 marks out of 10. The reason why I'm saying this is because the diagram is self-explanatory when you explain the entire steps with the proper labels. So but when you're writing the answer, make sure you have a proper flow, such as the introduction, the main body, and also your conclusion with it. So this is the way you should always follow the answers.
Okay, so you said that some evolutionary classes, right?
Yeah,
So
evolution classes. Yeah.
evolution classes. Okay, so
Yeah.
aspirants do take note of this. So then other thing is that it is again specific to you that you are there in the Indian Forest Service as well. And I think zoology is one of the optional there as well. So, along with zoology, which was your other optional, and how does it help in the Indian Forest Service exam also? Because it kind of give an advantage there also. So, what is your opinion about this?
So again, I'll be very much frank in this aspect as well. Like I had selected zoology. Another reason for it, purposely I selected, was because it was a common optional that I could do between forest services and civil services. So I had to learn the thing with forest services. We have to do 2 optionals. So I have to learn only one optional now. So the one optional which I selected initially for 2 years was botany. The problem with botany is, again, it is the same thing like zoology. It is very much theoretical and technical subject, and it demands that your answers and your diagrams are very much perfect, and it does not fetch you much marks. So I used to reach interview during those 2 attempts of the Indian Forest Service, but I failed in the interview just because of the botany marks. So finally I decided I'll change it to forestry. And forestry, trust me, I had studied only for like say 1.5 months, and I could fetch around out of 200 125 and 130 marks in forestry. So you can
That's
imagine this subject is like, like something which can be done by anyone who is not even from this background. For the engineering background especially, who are giving Indian Forest Services, they should always take forestry as one of the optional, because the syllabus is pretty much concise. You have very limited book sources from which you can refer to, and also at the same time the questions again tend to get repeated. And even if you and the questions are pretty much general, most of the stuff they ask is pretty much general, that even what you do in your general studies paper. So you can pretty much score, like at least 100 out of 200, 100, 105 out of 200. So yeah, forestry, definitely take it as one of the optional. And if you can take one subject common between civil and forestry, it is well and good. Forest service is well and good. Otherwise it's fine if you take one thing different between both of them. At least you prepare one optional way before the civil mains, and another after the civil services mains. Yeah.
And that is very much useful, that choosing again, as you said that you chose botany and then you changed it. See, it takes a lot of courage to change the optional, because we invest our resources, we invest our time and energy into choosing any particular optional. Again, this is a little bit related to optional, but not concerned with one optional. It is a larger question. Many people do change their optionals, and when they switch their optionals, let's say from geography to anthropology, many people got selected also. There are a lot of examples. Okay, so what is your view about changing the optional? What do you think that one should, like, see, I always feel that one gets trapped in this prelims mains interview cycle, and let's say again and again and again, if you are failing, sometimes you should take a break, and if possible change your optional, change some kind of strategy. What's your opinion about this?
See, I'll be pretty much honest. If I had a chance to go back and start all over again, I would have not taken zoology. If someone had guided me back then, say if you were there back then, I knew about your channel back then, I would have taken anthropology back then. So yeah, anthropology is something which I do always recommend. Whenever someone asks me, what to do for zoology, I first ask them, are you sure you want to take zoology? Are you sure you are sure about all the syllabus and everything? So when they are 100% thorough, that yes, I can do something in zoology and I have that much capacity, then only take zoology. Otherwise, don't go for it. You rather, you take anthropology, which is pretty much scoring and similar to what you do in the your science background. Yeah. So yeah. So the question that you asked me, like whenever you want to change the optional, so what exactly we should do in that case?
My question was, like, I think that if at all you think, sometimes let's say many people, when prelims they couldn't clear prelims, they tend to change the optional. There are like pros and cons associated with this, but when you see the longer trend, as I have asked, as you even said about zoology or geography or any other optional where you are not fetching marks, and when you see other optional where you think that okay, in 3-4 months of time I can prepare this optional, so someone like, what your advice would be कि optional change करना चाहिए क्या, if you have some kind of time, and if there is a chance, should you change your optional if it is possible for you?
See, if you have a whole 1 year left in front of you, I would say go for it. You do change your optional. The thing is, if you have pretty much less time, if you know you cannot give much time to the optional, then don't try and change the optional. You also see the recent trend of the optional, how much your optional is scoring, how much other options are scoring. And if your optional is pretty much doing consistently bad throughout the last 3-4 years, then it is better that you change the optional, like your optional at that time. You look at the syllabus. If you find the other optional is pretty much manageable as well for you, and you could do it within a fixed time period, then you go for it. You change it. I haven't changed my optional link in civil services in the zoology in my 4 attempts. The reason being that I found that every year whenever I used to give the mains, my optional marks used to increase every year. So if your optional marks, what you are attempting in your mains, it is not increasing, it is decreasing in your 2 attempts, say, then don't go with the third attempt with the same option. There is no point to it. It's better that you change something which you are more comfortable with, and which you think there is enough time for you to cover. So I would support, you go for and change the option. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Again, that is very insightful. And one other thing which I would like to ask you is what kind of strategy you have used during your entire preparation, because I heard you saying about one is your book list, writing answers, mostly practicing past 10-year questions, right? Past year questions. So what was your overall strategy considering your optional? Because again, for your selection and for getting into top 100, your optional marks matter a lot. So what was your preparation strategy since beginning about your optional?
So from the initially, what I did was I first, wrote down all the books that I'm going to refer. So when I knew that exactly what I have to read, how much I have to read, then my targets were pretty much fixed. So first thing you need to do is define which books you have to read and write it down. You don't keep on adding material to it. Okay. And secondly, then after that, whenever I used to, the first 3 months I specifically gave only for reading the stuff, not for anything else, not for writing answers, only for reading the stuff. So I read the entire optional at least twice in the initial 4 months. Initial 4 months I read the optional twice, and after that what I did was I focused on drawing the diagrams itself, nothing else. I made a separate book where I used to draw all the diagrams, that whatever diagrams are there in the entire syllabus, I drew all the diagrams. Then what I did, I focused on the last 10 years question papers. Then I started solving, say particularly if you do the coordinates topic, then I picked up the last 10 years papers and I solved only the question from the coordinates part. And I prepared a book out of those questions for the coordinates part. So this is the way you should do. You should at least revise your syllabus for the 2 times at least initially. Just focus on reading it totally. You should have a proper book list. Then you should draw the diagrams. You should practice your diagrams and at least give half a day, say on the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, just for drawing the diagrams, so that you are thorough with it. And then you prepare your last 10 years question papers, you solve it. And the advantage of solving the last 10 years papers is that when your actual mains exam is there, then you don't need to go back to your reference books again. All you need to do is pick up your solved question papers, and you all you need to do is just read through those questions, because the questions will come from them only, either the same question or the twisted question, but the answer will remain the same. So you have answers all set for you.
I would say that's again a very good strategy, because in anthropology also many a times questions gets they get repeated, right? So that again that gives you confidence when you start writing answers. And what was your writing like? You like throughout this session I have heard you focused a lot on drawing the diagrams, correct diagrams, right? So, what was your answer writing strategy concerned to your optional? Because the way we write answers in every optional, there is a lot of difference. Such as in anthropology, we do add case studies, examples. They matter a lot. So, what was or which like extra value addition thing which you used in your answer, which helped you to fetch more marks?
See, I would say for the value addition, use color pencils for diagrams firstly. Whenever you use color pencils for your diagrams, you tend to make it more, like visible, and also at the same time easily readable for the person who is checking your paper. Secondly, at the same time, write your answers in pretty much concise form. Don't go on writing like an essay. If they are asking something, like when you're writing in the diagram, you're referring to something in the diagram, just refer to one line, particularly in writing. Do not keep on writing an essay, just concisely write it, and make sure you give a proper introduction. Then you write your answer in points properly. For the zoology, like many a times, you think that zoology is something we can write answers in paragraph format. Don't do that, because again it tends to become messy. So rather use point format only, point format or numbering system. And also you give a proper conclusion. The only value addition that you could do in zoology, and which I did, was using color pencils for the diagram, and at the same time keeping the answers pretty much what the question asks to that level itself, not giving extra input or extra material, because then it becomes vague and the examiner tends to think that we are just beating around the bush. Yeah.
I would say again that is up to the point, because adding value to your answers makes your answer different than others, and that is something which really helped me during my optional as well. Because structuring of your answers, then adding these things, these are really important things. This is the last thing which would I would like to ask. is what do you think about any optional which make a person's answers look unique to the evaluator? In any optional, let's say whether I'm preparing anthropology, politics, science, or any optional. Okay, according to, because you have got a bit of experience, you have interacted with many aspirants, friends. Okay, so what that, like, if you would point two three things which make any answer look different than other answers.
See, I think it is the way you present your answers, and also, at the same time, the extra value added material that you said that you add to the answers. Say, for example, any optional. If you could draw a diagram for that particular answer, then you better draw that diagram. You do not miss out on the diagram. We most of the times think that the writing is more important than the diagram. But if when you draw the diagram, it fetches you an extra mark. So always focus on that. Secondly, you underline the key important stuff in your answers. When you underline the key important stuff, because the examiner has plenty of papers to check, so he will not keep on reading everything. He will just look at the underlined points, which are the important points, and if you have underlined properly, then he will give you a good amount of marks as well. At the same time, you structure your answer properly. As I told you, you have to write in the point format. So the presentation matters a lot, along with the diagrams in your answers. So this is the thing that will stand out, make your answer stand out, and to the point, crisp and to the point. There's no point writing, going on writing. As it is, you have limited amount of space in your mains paper, and at the same time, if the question also demands that you write to the point and to pretty much concise. So yeah, that will make your answer stand out.
Again, thank you so much, sir, for these advices. So, what would be your last advice? Let's say I am a zoology student, and let's say I am going for the CSC preparation. What would be your advice? Okay, yeah. Let's say I think that from my graduation, since my graduation, if I am preparing, considering the zoology optional, whether I should go for this optional or not, considering all other factors.
See, if you have done your background in graduation is zoology, total zoology, then I would say, okay, you can give it a try. But if you haven't, you have said then done zoology only for first year or the second year, then I would not advise you to take zoology. I would rather advise you to take something, which is more or less similar to it. And I would say anthropology is the better option for it. And if you are taking zoology, and if you are pretty much confident about it, one thing I would say, always sit with the past question papers. Whenever you're reading, sit with your past question papers and your syllabus, because when you're reading from the reading and also referring to the syllabus, you know exactly how much to cover there. You can strike out whatever, you have done, and you know which all topics are missing from those reference books, and you could get it from, the online sources. At the same time, when you refer to your question papers, you know exactly how much to read, because the question papers, the type of question they ask, so you get an idea of how much to read in that particular topic. So always sit with your question paper, with your syllabus, and solve the question papers. There is no other option. What people do is that they look at the questions and they look at the answers from, the reference books, but they don't practice writing it.
Yeah.
And this is a major drawback. When you start practicing the answers and start practicing the diagrams, you get a hang of writing within the time limit and within the concise space that is given into the in the answer sheet as well. So you need to practice. So this is the second thing. Yeah.
Sir, at the end, I would like to ask this thing, that if anybody has any kind of doubt, where they can approach you, on your Instagram or something.
Yes, I'm actually accessible on my Twitter as well as my Instagram page. So yeah, anyone can find me at Prasad Shinde IFS on Instagram page, and they can
Yeah.
ask their doubts over it.
Yeah, I will share your details in the video description. At the same time, I will be sharing his book list, and if any other sources he has referred, and if we can compile them, I will proper put it in a proper drive, and I will share that link with all of you. So thank you so much, sir, for having this time with us. And again, this will be very much helpful to many aspirants out there, because optional like these, very little guidance is available for option technical options. And thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for having me over here. Considering that zoology, people have been asking me, and I guess your platform will reach out to many of the aspirants. So thank you very much for having me and having this session. Thank you, sir.